सरांच्या
ते भी शिकवू शकतो. याला मोबाईलला त्या लॅपटॉप सोबत कनेक्ट करून द्या.
लाईव्ह मध्ये फ्लॅग दिसते ना. आता
शंतनू, तुझा मोबाईल सरांना देशील? मी तुझ्या याच्यात सरांची स्पीच पाठवून ठेवते. त्याच्या याच्यात सेंड करू पॉइंट शंतनूच्या पॉइंट त्याचा मोबाईल तुम्हाला देतो करू का तू माझा
करून दे.
बोल जीनी. हो घेता है संध्या, वो लोग उधर से लोग ये कर रहे ज्वाइन करने के लिए.
बाहेर पडून हे करा.
ते म्हणे त्या मीटिंग मध्ये घे आम्हाला. ऍडमिट करायसाठी दे ना मोबाईल.
जो आता युट्यूबची करेल त्याला हे दिसेल तर कॅमेरा हा कसं काम मागची पैसे काय येईल बसले आपण तिकडे तेच तिथं काय येईल ते सांगता येऊ शकत नाही.
और यातून बोलणारा फोकस झाला पाहिजे बोलता वेळेस. सध्याच्या आधी दिसतात
पण आली का स्क्रीन आहे
स्क्रीन आली आहे.
पाठव. सायलेंट कर.
हो ना मला दिसते
मीटिंग किती आहे करणार
हे काय नाही. ते समज बरं कोण आहे कोण कोण बोलणार आहे आपण त्याचं बॅनर आधीच तयार करू शकतो
मला वाटते इंट्रोडक्शन मॅडम करतो साहेब असतील
आता सगळी तिथे हालचाल दिसते आहे युट्यूब मध्ये. हॅलो.
इंट्रोडक्टरी स्पीच
I'm Dr. Pankaj Raj, Head Department of English, Srimati Investments, Art Studies and Science. We will begin with
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Jais, kind guests from the management, Honorable Principal, and all the participants who have joined. I take the kind privilege in welcoming all. I'm Dr. Pankaja, the head Department of English, Srimati Nasrama Arts, Commerce and Science College, Amravati. I welcome you all for this one-day international webinar on a very fantastic topic, that is simple techniques to learn English language. Putting into the nutshell, actually I had a very sizzling experience. Last 1 month back, I had been to New Delhi to attend one international conference, and that was about Industry 4.0. The conference was for 6 hours, and for entire 6 hours, there was no other language spoken over there. So it was only English, English, and English. Of course, that was an inspiring point. Then came back to the college. I had a discussion with my principal, and the thought germinated from there that something should be done for the students of a region, that they should come up to the level where the competition is existing. And with this kind view, we initiated for organizing this one-day international webinar. So before beginning the webinar, let me tell you something about my college. Srimati Narasimha Arts, Commerce and Science College. It was established in the year 1995. At present, we are having 2,000 and more students in junior college, senior, and post-graduation. We have all the three streams: arts, commerce, and science. Apart from that, our college is having 13 research centers, which has added an additional feather to the college. Apart from that, the students of the college are very good at sports and even in other extracurricular activities. Since I belong to the Department of English, let me tell you something about my department. So we are three people working here, the full-time faculty, I myself, Dr. Pankaja, Dr. Nakul Gavande, and Dr. Madhuri Chikhalkar. We have a club over here named as English Literary Society, which works for the benefit of the students. We try to inculcate into them those beautiful literary sense through our subject while teaching and while conducting the extracurricular activities. So we are into seminars, workshops, and also we have done an MOU with one of the orphanages in Amravati where we have started the library. The students from Narasimha College, they go there and teach the orphan girls. So I think that this is the most humanistic characteristics which I would like to say that it has inherited from the trust of a college where I bow my head towards Narasimha Mata, who has dedicated her life and she has given the land of 12 and a half acres with the purpose that the needy should get the education. Our entire trust and non-teaching are very vigorous about giving the education to the underprivileged class, where we have such systems that although the students are not able to pay the fees, but we are standing in the support system that no student should be left without taking the education who has come to our doorsteps. So this is how I have put into the nutshell about my college, my department. So speaking about this webinar, let me tell you that since I have specified it into a title that simple techniques to learn English. If you guys have gone through the brochure, we had mentioned that the participants would be the faculties, the research scholars, they could be the students from the school, colleges, housewives, and other professionals. Because, of course, there is something which has hit this topic. If we are into the technology, nowadays everyone is holding the phone in their hands. WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and so many X's. Even the housewife are in tune with this technology. But if we go into the core, into the depth, we see that we can't separate ourselves from English. Even the worker class knows about how to dial the number in English. They are well versed, getting in tune with WhatsApp. But then again, that small hesitation is there because they are looking all over that everything, whatever is coming through the media, digital world, it is all having the flow of English language. And then somehow, if you have got an education through English medium, well, you're blessed, and then you feel that you are in tune with this coming generation. But what about the people who are not blessed with the education they took in English? But then, nothing to fear. I agree that language should not be the barrier for getting the success in life. But if we look today scenario, we get to know that if you want to get a good hike in your career, if you want a good position, if you want to have a good network, and finally, if you want to create a brand for yourself, a name. So if you're interacting, if you're going globally, if you're moving, of course, English language will be something like oxygen which will be with you and which will help you to move confidently. But since I have been the certified soft skill trainer of Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University since 2018, I have been visiting not many schools and colleges in Amravati as well as in the rural part. And what I got to know is students outside are very intelligent academically. They are good. They are, they have good aims in their life. They are very much, I can say, talented also. But something is there which is lacking when I was doing this sessions of soft skill. I got to know that students are intelligent, academically sound, but they are lacking somewhere. That is the communication skills. If I say that one has to be very sound in their skills, the hard skills or the academics, but along with that, you can't survive without the soft skill. And the priormost of the soft skill is the communication skills. Of course, I agree that even your mother tongue or the vernaculars, they also give you a good success. But then, what if English ka tadka is added to your personality? If you go to some hotels, if you go to some I say airport, or if you're interacting there at some seminar workshops, or if you're there at the interview and you know that you are very skilled at your language, that is communication in English is very flawless. See that what type of personality you will be. You will have the intellect, and along with that, you will have that braveness and that confidence, which will 100% lead you towards success. So this is our small effort, what we have taken, that we have initiated with this webinar. And I'm quite glad that actually I should thank all the participants, because in this watching heat and the vacations, nobody wants to get into academics and get disturbed. But apart from that, you have genuinely made the efforts, and we were even doubted that whether even 100 people will join. And the number is about 550 participants who have registered, all from Amravati, some from overseas, then UP, MP, there are almost so many participants, and I'm really thankful to them for showing this trust in us, believing in us. And our belief system was entirely dependent on the two internationally acclaimed speakers, internationally acclaimed trainers, Mr. Samudra Bagchi and Mrs. Amrita Bagchi. Of course, when the session will begin, I'm going to tell in details about them. But in the beginning, I'm very much glad to welcome both of the internationally acclaimed speakers, because it's almost 1 lakh and above people they have trained in the last 20 years, and we are really blessed to have them over here. So now, as an official part of getting our webinar inaugurated, I request one of the honorable members of our trust, Honorable Karikar sir, to please inaugurate the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj Madam, Principal of the Institute, Dr. Chandra Parsar, organizer of the program, Dr. Pankaj Madam, Madam, other organizers of the program, the eminent speakers of this program, Mr. Samudra Bagchi and Mrs. Arpita Bagchi, and all the participants who have joined from all corners of the world, you can say. We know that knowledge is important, but expression of knowledge is more important. It is not sufficient that we should get the knowledge, but whenever needed, you should be able to express yourself. And in this international world, it is needed. It is true that your own language, your mother tongue, so Bhasha we call it as, is important in teaching learning process. But when we have to express ourselves, as it is said that communication skill is very important. And for communication skill at the international level, and nowadays not only on the international levels, even when we go in mall, even when we go in railway, when we go in airport, you have to communicate with the people in English language. Many times people have learned English in the school level, college level, but there is no confidence. There is a fear in the mind of people that whether I speak English properly or not. So such type of the programs will help you to build the confidence in speaking, and so that you will be able to communicate and express your thoughts in a proper manner. And expression of thoughts in proper manner is the first step of success. Whenever you go for any interview, if you are not able to express what you know, or if you are not able to understand the question the interviewer is asking, then there is no use of your language, no use of your knowledge. Our college, I congratulate the Department of English, Narsama College, for organizing such type of program for the benefit of every corner of the society, not only the students of this college, not only the staff of the college, but every corner of the society. We as a trust always promote such type of activities. So with these few words, and one more thing I want to add, that such a program of 2 hours or 1 day international webinar is not sufficient. It is not true that tomorrow you will go and start speaking English in public fluently. For everything, it needs the practice. And therefore, I appeal all the participants that after getting the skills from the eminent speakers, try to practice it every day, at least for half an hour, at least for 1 hour. Whenever you go to your college, whenever you go to the mall, the practice will make you perfect. So with these few words, I declare this international webinar on simple techniques of English language inaugurated, and I take your leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Karitis sir, for inaugurating today's webinar. Speaking about you, you have always been the guiding force for the college, and we are really privileged to have you here. After this, I request our Honorable Principal, Dr. Chandan Bhatt sir, to preside over the speech.
Welcome to all participants for inaugurating members. Karigar sir, head of the Department of English, Dr. Pankaja ma'am, Dr. Chitandar ma'am, and our today's guest with the knowledge about the how to speak English, how to communicate English, how to use English language in a daily life. Sri Samudra Bakchi sir and Mrs. Amrita Bak madam. I will welcome to all the members participating in this international webinar how to communicate English in daily life. Because we have know the English language is as a international language. When you go out of the country, when you go out of the city, in big city, you have know the knowledge of English. You communicate yourself in the other state, express your idea, express your thoughts. But if you are not know about the English language, you cannot communicate yourself. And if at that time you are helpless at the time of communication with the others. We are initiative by the our trust, Srimati Narsama Hiraya Trust, which privilege us give the chance to communicate with others. Srimati Narsama, Srimati Arts and Commerce College, as a head of the department. Dr. Pankaja madam express his thought, communicate with me. Sir, we are taking some type of webinar for the student and other people. I am permitted to our faculty. Please go ahead and do this international webinar for the student we have needed for the future. Thankful to all the participants and welcome also. I stop my thoughts. Thank you. Thank you.
We are really thankful to our Honorable Principal, Dr. Chandan Bhatt sir, because I can say that he is one of the strongest pillar and the guiding force behind this webinar. So, before starting the interaction of the trainers, I just need a few more seconds because they are supposed to be get connected to YouTube. Just a 2 minutes of pause I'll be taking whether to ensure. Just a 2 minutes break.
मॅडम सुरू करू सुरू करू
Yeah. So I apologize for this time break which I had taken, but there was a little bit of technical issue because already we had exceeded people over here, the participants, and we have started the YouTube streaming, live streaming also, and
And
our
our
guest was
guest was
about to
about to
join.
join.
But
But
anyways, we
anyways,
are
we are
back.
back.
So let me introduce our
Our
internationally
internationally
acclaimed
acclaimed
speaker.
speaker.
I'm very
I'm
glad
glad
to tell
to tell
about
about
Sri
Sri
Samudra
Samudra
Bakshi. Hello,
Bakshi.
sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Samudra
Sri Samudra
Bakshi
Bakshi
has an overall work
has
experience of
experience
more than
of more
32
than
years.
32 years.
He has an
He has an
experience of
experience
10
of
plus
10 plus
years
years
in the
in the
engineering
engineering
industry.
industry.
He has
He
worked
has
in
worked in
Germany,
Germany,
France,
France,
USA,
USA,
and
and
he went
he went
to
to
China
China
and served
and
there
served there
for
for
12.5
12.5
years,
years,
teaching
teaching
English
English
language
language
and
and
martial
martial
arts.
arts.
Apart from
Apart
that,
from that,
he is
he is
sorry.
sorry, yeah.
So he returned to
So
India
he
in this
returned
year in
to India
2015 and
in
joined as a founder
2015
member
and
of the Skills Department of Adams University, Calcutta. And
to
then, telling about him, he is a
determine a skill culture.
TEFL
It
and
is
TESOL certified by American TESOL Institute. He's a foreign expert in communication skills,
He's a
soft
foreign
skills,
expert in
leadership skills,
communication skills, soft
trained
skills,
for
leadership
more
skills,
than
trained for more
20
than
years
20 years
in one of the
in one of
reputed
the
institutes
reputed
in China.
institutes in China.
He provides
He
training
provides
on
training
national
on
talent
national
search
training search
examination,
examination,
leadership
leadership
qualities,
qualities,
and how
and how
academic
academic
leaders
leaders
emerge.
work.
He has
Who
trained
has
more than
trained
1
more
lakh
than
students and
1
teachers in
student
China
teachers
and
in
India
China and India
from school
from
to
school to
university. In
university. In
2016, he was
2016, he was
selected by
selected
government
by
of West
government of West
Bengal
Bengal
to teach
to teach
communicative
communicative
English
English
to the
to
first
the
batch
first
of
batch of
secondary
secondary
students under the
students under the
project of
project of
Honorable Chief
Honorable Chief
Minister
Minister
of West
of West
Bengal,
Bengal,
named
named
as
as
WB
WB
TDCC.
TDCC.
Currently, he
Currently,
is
who
associated with
associated with
Burlington English
Burlington
India
English
as a
India as a
freelance English
freelance English
language
language
training
training
consultant.
consultant.
We welcome you,
We
sir,
welcome you,
and we
sir,
are
and we
really
are
very
really,
privileged
really
to
privileged
have
to
such
have
an
such
huge
an huge
experienced
experienced
person.
person.
Along with
Along
that,
with
I
that,
would
I would
also
also
welcome
welcome
Mrs.
Mrs.
Amrita
Amrita
Bagchi.
Bagchi.
I would
I would
also
also
love to
love to
provide
provide
information
information
about her
about her
that
that
she has added
she has
over
added over
22
22
years of
years
her
of
career,
her
pivoting around the core education domain and has taught extensively both in India and
and
China
China
for
for
12 and
12
a half
and a
years.
half years.
Amrita
Amrita
Bagchi
Bagchi
is a
is a
TESOL and
TESOL and
TEFL
TESOL
certified
certified
professional
professional
from the
from the
American
American
TESOL
TESOL
Institute.
Institute.
I'm very
I'm
glad
very
to
proud to
announce
announce
that Mrs.
that Mrs.
Bagchi,
Bagchi,
after
after
returning to
returning to
India in
India in
2015,
2015,
and
and
has
Shah
joined
has
the
joined
Adams
the Adams
University as the
University as
founder
the founder
member
member
of
of
Skill
Skill
Development.
Development.
Mrs. Bagchi has
Mrs.
co-authored
Bagchi
with her
has
husband two
her
original
husband
books on
two original
communicative
works on
skills,
communicative skills,
communicative English, soft
communicative
skills,
English,
and
soft
personality
skills and
development,
personality
which
development,
are a
which
part
are
of the
a part of
curriculum
the
in the
curriculum
Adams
in the Adams
University, Kolkata.
University, Calcutta.
In
In
2012, she was
2012, she
briefly
was briefly
associated with
associated
Delhi
with
Skills
Delhi
and
Skills and
Entrepreneurship
Entrepreneurship
University.
University.
Currently, she
Currently,
is associated associated with English India as a freelance English language training consultant. Oh my God, what a huge profile they have. A man who is well experienced for 32 years and his wife for 22 years. We are really blessed to have this internationally acclaimed speakers. And now I hope this webinar will be a very enriching experience. Over to you, Bharti Kapil.
Thank you very much, and a wonderful evening from Calcutta city. Currently, I'm in Calcutta together with Madam Bakshi, and I am here to show my respect to the honorable principal, to the honorable founder members of the Narsamma Trust, to Pankaja Madam, and all the participants who are listening, who are present currently on the Google Meet and on the YouTube. I would like to request the host to kindly note that no one is going to present something, because then it becomes a bit problematic. Okay, so kindly bar the presenting the screen. Are we all here? Are we all charged? Are we all very happy to be here to understand why English is so important? Because from our student life to the life when we start earning our bread and butter, English has never left us. Thank you very much, TS English. I can see that there will be several people who are going to write on the chat, and I deeply acknowledge all of you who are present here. So as I am trying to warm up to speak on this session, first of all, I would like to tell you that simple techniques to learn English language is a wonderful sentence. But the point is, this is not as simple as the sentence talks about. English is an official language in India. If you are aware of following the Olympic Games, you will find that I am just going to present a small data. In London Olympics, 204 nations participated, means 204 countries had participated. And out of 204 countries, how many countries are actually using English? That's what I am here to make a comparison. Now, are you aware of two words that I'm going to use called lingua franca? Now, what is the meaning of lingua franca? Lingua franca means, like in India, for example, I am from Calcutta. I live in Greater Noida. My mother tongue is Bengali. People who are in Maharashtra, their mother tongue is Marathi. People who are in Delhi city, their mother tongue is Hindi. People who are in Bihar, some of them, their mother tongue is Maithili, as well as people who are in Orissa, their mother tongue is Oriya. People who are in Assam, their mother tongue is Assamese. What I mean to say is that in our own families, when we listen to our mother tongue and we start, we start communicating with our parents and with our family members, that becomes our strength, that we are extremely confident in listening and speaking on the mother tongue. But then when we want to communicate with people from all these places, as I mentioned about the different mother tongue, the different languages, we find that it becomes very difficult, because people who are not understanding mother tongue, they will not be able to understand what I'm talking about. So eventually it becomes very difficult. So then there was someone many years before that developed one language to be very common, known as a shared language of communication, which people will be using, but they are speakers from different languages. That is the thing. And that language became English. So English is known as the lingua franca in many parts of the world. Now, lingua franca is a language which is actually used to aid communication, to aid commerce, that is the business, between different languages.
Now, lingua franca can also be known as trade languages because as we do business, when I'm doing business in Maharashtra, I can say this is a trade language because I'm using English. In the contact languages, I'm doing a business in Spain. So people in Spain and people in India, when they are going to meet, then they have to use one language which both the Spanish person and the Indian person can understand, and that is English. So it could be contact languages or it could be a global language, and that's how English became very, very popular. Now, why English has become the world's lingua franca is only because of the fact that the common language or the mode of communication that enables people to understand one another regardless of their culture and ethnical backgrounds. It makes communication a lot more easier, and understanding one another has become very, very efficient. Now, if you find out, as I mentioned at the beginning, that there were 204 countries that participated in the London Olympics. And now, as I was browsing the data, I found that the number of countries in the world is equal to 195. However, the number of countries that is in English, you would be very, very surprised to know how many countries in the world are using English. There are 67 countries that are using English, either in an official language or it could be a native language. Now, what is a native language? Like I'm from Calcutta, so my native language is Bangla. You are from Maharashtra, your native language is Marathi. Someone is from Uttar Pradesh, their native language could be Hindi. So the people who are born in America, who are born in United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, who are born in Ireland, people from Australia, people from Canada, people from these 7 countries. I don't know, did I miss anyone? So people from these 7 countries, their mother tongue is English and they are known as native speakers of English. I think I missed one country, that is called South Africa. So 7 countries in the world, that's what I named right now. And there's people from these 7 countries, their mother tongue is English and they are known as native English speakers in the world. So native English speakers in the world plus where English is an official language, that comprises of 67, and 67 out of 204 is equal to 33%. If you can understand, 33% of people, that is around 400 million people, are using English. So 400 million people are using English. So you can understand that it is not a rocket science. And there is nothing to feel afraid. Okay, people who are in the villages, people who are in the rural area, even I studied from the village. I am a student of Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit under the ages of Swami Vivekananda and Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansadev. So I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I used to sleep at 9:30 p.m. And my day starts by doing the prayer. So I used to pray with all my student friends. And then after that, we used to exercise. And it was an English medium school of CBSE, but in Devghar, district Devghar, it was in Bihar. Now it is in Jharkhand. So I myself, I grew up from the village. So my core strength is the Mother Earth, is that I'm a person, I'm a very proud person when I say that I'm from the village. And then if I could make it, that I could earn money, I could develop people's skills by using English as a foreign language, if I could earn my living for 20 years and more, because now I'm in the industry of language learning. I'm not with engineering industry anymore, as Madam Pankaja had already mentioned about my introduction. So then when I can do that, why can't you? See, my faith system, my belief system was very strong. So I'm going to tell you some of the techniques and what are the things that I have learned by myself and which I want you to follow, and you will be able to undertake you can find out the meaning of TTM. So I just, being so humorous, I can just tell you that TTM means that you can talk to me. Now, I am not everywhere. You can connect with me through Zoom or through Google Meet, through online sessions. But actually, you can talk with yourself. How you can talk with yourself? You can talk with yourself if you stand in front of the mirror. You can stand in front of on the mirror and you can talk with yourself using English. You can read something. You can take a book. Suppose this is a book, and you can take a book and you can read like that. And when you are reading, you can see, you can open your eyes and you can see that you can see someone is standing in front of the mirror, and that is no one but you. Okay? You have to leave your shyness. Never be shy. And you have to find out that people, it could be your parents, your classmates, who can always, give you, like, why you are using English? Why not we talk in Hindi? Why not we talk in Oriya? Why not we talk in Marathi language? Uh, may I know who is Pooja Raj on the Google Meet? Dr. Pankaja? Dr. Pankaja? Can you hear me? I just want someone to raise his hand on the Google Meet. Hello? Yeah. Dr. Pankaja, may I know who is Pooja Raj? I would like to request the host to kindly look into Pooja Raj, because Pooja Raj is sharing something and then there is a problem, because just now you called, you just called me and told me that my voice is not reaching. I hope now my voice is okay. And so let's go through this, as I was trying to mention about that. You can talk to yourself and you have to leave your shyness. You can read the newspaper. In India, in different parts of India, we have newspapers in our local languages. At the same time, we can also buy newspaper in English language. It could be Times of India, it could be Telegraph, it could be Statesman, it could be Indian Tribune. You can just find out. It's very easy. Now, if you are not investing the money to buy a newspaper, you can request your school. I think every school can have one newspaper in the library, and the student can go and read the newspaper. I mean, the culture is very important. The practice is very important. It is very important to introduce English in the
Hello, sir, madam, Pankaj, madam.
Yeah, you're audible
Your
now.
voice is.
You're audible. You're audible, sir. Okay. Hello, Krishna, sir.
I think there's some technical issue.
I am very, very apologetic, Dr. Pankaja. Yeah, you just kindly pay your attention and give me some ears. I was using an Airtel Wi-Fi, but that doesn't work anymore. So currently,
Yes.
I think you all can listen to me, right? You can all hear me, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
There,
Mr. Sumit.
yeah. Actually, my microphone was someone. I really don't know who did that. Currently, I'm using my telephone's mobile data. My Airtel Wi-Fi at my house is not working anymore currently. So anyway, trying to, I was just trying to make my, my honorable students and the participants understand that the can improve to be more and more nearer to the English language, to be more and more friendlier to the English language, is only by these parameters, by only by doing such kind of things, because there is really no other way. You have to watch English movies. You don't like English movies, the reason is very clear, because they talk in native accent. And hello,
Yeah.
can I just try to know that how much you have heard? I mean, what was the last part? That would really help me.
Since last 3 to 4 minutes, you were mute. Yeah.
No, what was the
You
last
were
sentence,
you were
if you
telling
remember?
the experience of your school and with the newspaper.
Okay, Yogesh, thank you very much. So Yogesh has written newspaper. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Yogesh, like this, you please help me, because somehow this hotspot is also not hot. So I think it has become very cold. So it has become a cold spot. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now coming back to this newspaper. See, all these you might have heard, because it's not only Dr. Pankaja. There are many teachers in India, and everyone is trying his or her best to empower the youth of India. And the methods will be the same. But the point is your faith system, your belief system, that how much you really accept. Okay, how much you accept. As I told you, TTM. So TTM is over. So now we are talking about the newspaper. See, newspaper reading in the school. So you don't have to feel shy. If you go to your school, there could be the Hindi or your local newspaper, Marathi language newspaper or Bangla newspaper. But the point is, if there are 2 or 3 English newspapers, then there could be batches. Okay, now 10 students, you can read it together for 5 minutes. Don't do it more. I want the students to understand, do it less, but do it every day. Do it less, but do it every day. That's how I gained success. Okay, I don't eat a lot, I eat less, but I can eat for long. The meaning is what? If you eat less in my age, if you eat less, then you can live long because your ailments will be reduced. So if you are using English, you want to be friendly with English, you want to be very close to English, then don't study English more at the beginning because your friendship is important. Okay, too much friendship at the beginning is not good because people will mistrust. Okay, I hope you understand. I just want a yes. Only one yes. If someone can say yes, so I understand that people are understanding. One yes, please. Anyone? Is the meet there? Yeah, one yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Faria. Thank you, Manisha. Now, the point is that you have to read the newspaper. You have to read the newspaper for 5 minutes. 10 students. Okay, the younger group I'm talking about. People who are adult. Adult people have more resources. I'm talking about the younger generation. So they can read the newspaper, then they can leave. Okay, during the tiffin time, 5 minutes. Okay, Monday tiffin time 5 minutes. This group. Tuesday tiffin time 5 minutes. Another group. Okay, because tiffin is also important. In the lunch you have to eat. Now there is one called DBA. So I said DBA. What is the meaning of DBA? Don't be afraid. Okay, first and foremost, or second or third, no matter you put it categorized in a serial way, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Okay, because English is not a snake. English is not poisonous that you touch English and it's going to bite you and then you will die. It's not like that at all. Possibly many people, they have not hugged English. Okay, they have not embraced English. Therefore, English has become a bit looking dangerous type of a thing. It's not like that. It's a very sweet language. It's a very sweet and very wonderful language. If you are learning English and practicing to talk, practicing to listen, you can make friends in other parts of our country, India, and also other countries as well. In our own country, you can make friendship, and with other, now the more friendship you have, the more network you have, the more you have opportunities to grow. You can have a good career. Now, you know, your mind will tell you what you can do in life. Okay, everything I cannot tell you because the mind will go according to your path of hard work. Okay, then your mind will give you indications. The English is a very common language in the world, so you also must accept that why not all common people get afraid? They aren't. Common people are not afraid. There are many people who use English. So why you are not accepting the fact that English is a very, 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 very easy-going language, and these are the data. So on the basis of data, see, scientific explanation or numeral, numeracy skills using the numerical, if a person can provide the information, then I don't find it difficult to prove the point that English is a very friendly language which you all can use. There was a guy who was a researcher. His name is Albert Mehrabian. Albert Mehrabian, he was doing research on body language. Okay, you see the body and the language. So you could also see all the people who are on Google Meet, who are on the this YouTube channel. They can see that I'm using my hand movements and gestures. So this is a part of body language. So he has broken down the components of a face-to-face communication. When we are doing a face-to-face communication, he has said that 100 could be divided into 55% non-verbal. In non-verbal, we don't talk. 38% vocal. Vocal means this area. Okay, using the voice, that's 38%. And 7% are only words. So you can understand that it is very, 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 very less. The words that I speak right now, whatever I'm speaking is meaningless. It's useless. The useful thing is my voice. The useful thing is my way of interacting with my participants, with the facial expression. Because right now I am not in a classroom where I can see everybody. Okay, this is all a webinar using my laptop. And I am on a YouTube, I can only see myself. I can't see everybody's face. Now the point is, when I'm going in front of you, maybe there are 250 people, 300 people inside a room called a seminar room. And when I stand on the podium, then when I'm looking into your eyes, that's your eye contact. So you look at me from top to bottom. That's my personal experience. I mean, my personality. Okay, that's my That's my appearance. And you see me doing hand movements and gestures. Okay, you also see my postures. They all come under non-verbal, which is 55%. And in vocal, that is the paralinguistic features we talk. This is the vocal. So in that, how many words you need to speak in a minute is very important. If you're too slow, a slow moving train, you feel sleepy, okay? Then you will not take interest. If a person is very fast, like a plane, okay, or maybe a very speedy motorcycle, also you won't be able to understand what he said and what he didn't say. So the number of words spoken per minute in international English language system is 125 words. If you can speak in a minute, it's fantastic. The listener can understand, he can find the meaning, and he can also give a response. The pitch, the volume in which you speak, very important. The voice is going to attract the audience. The words is only 7%. So I also want you to go to a riverside. I mean, somewhere away from your home, maybe a kilometer. In the morning, you take a morning walk. Okay, if you find a pond, if you find a water body, if you find a river, in front of the river, you take a book, you read it loudly. You read it loudly. You read loudly. No one is there. You read loudly. You read loudly. You read loudly the English words, the English sentences, and then you will hear. The more you hear, the more you will have the confidence. Imagine you are taking a rickshaw. You know rickshaw? The rickshawala, okay? You give a smile to a rickshawala and ask him, what is your name? In English, what is your name? Don't speak in Hindi, aapka naam kya hai? You just tell him what is your name. Now he will just look at you. He will tell you in his mother tongue that he doesn't understand. So slowly and slowly and slowly, you ask him to repeat after you. What? So he will say, what? Is, you can also say, is your. So maybe your will not the right way to pronounce your. Okay, yar. He can say yar also. Okay, name, naam, name, naam, name, naam, name. So if you tell him to speak a bit faster, what is your name, and you hear, the moment you hear, you clap for him. Okay, you appreciate. And the moment you appreciate, you can translate to him the meaning of these words, that what is your name means, aapka naam kya hai? Tomar naam ki ache. So I spoke in two languages, okay, Bengali and Hindi. And then the person will give you a smile, and he can also ask you a question, that why you are teaching me this English. Then you can just tell him that if you like the sound of these words, and if you keep on chanting, what is your name? What is your name? What is your name? Bar, what is your name? And you go home and tell your wife, and teach your wife. Tell your wife to teach her son or daughter. So this is called networking also. In the way, just one sentence can create a magic, and this can give you immense pleasure in your heart, and you will be more and more and more nearer to the English language. So right now, as we are having the time, I would like to invite Madam Amrita Bakshi to take the webinar more further on simple techniques of English language. Amrita ma'am, please.
Good evening, one and all present in the webinar this evening. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to conduct this webinar. And Mr. Bakshi was talking a lot. In fact, he told you many things about effective ways of learning how to speak in English or how to communicate. Now, I'm going to highlight certain things this evening. And, the problem with speaking English is not that people don't know how to speak English, But the problem is we fear to speak in English. We are hesitant to speak in English. We are shy to speak in English. But as Mr. Bakshi was saying, that English is a very lucid language. English is a very easygoing language. And once you kind of master this language, you will have no problem in trying to communicate in English. But we have already created a mental barrier. Barrier means obstacle. That, well, I am afraid to speak English or hesitant to speak English. So first of all, you have to get rid of this mindset. First of all, you have to understand that English is official language of our country. And as we say, it is a lingua franca. And so it is used in most of the countries in the world. So today, if we are not using English and we are depending on our native language, we are basically, narrowing down our world. We are not broadening our world. If you want to broaden your world, if you want to get more exposure, if you want to communicate with the people from different states, as Mr. Bakshi was saying, in our own country, as well as people from abroad, people of different nationalities, you have to use this lingua franca, that is English, because English has gained immense popularity all over the world. Right? So you cannot be isolated from this language, or you cannot run away from this language. So one thing that I would like to say is English, the communication, process is a process. Communication is a process. Now, if you have spelled the word communication, if you spell the word communication, you will see there is a letter U. So you, as an individual, is the center of the communication process. It is you who have to make the communication, kind of effective. So what you have to do first, you have to know that communication is a process. At one end, there is a receiver, and one end, there is a sender. For now, I'm the sender, and you all my dear participants, and all the people present here, you are the receiver. Now, I have to encode what I want to say, and I must send it to you, and your task is to decode what I'm saying. And once you decode and understand what I'm saying, you have every right to give me a feedback as to what you've understood by the communication. So this is an entire process, and this entire process has a channel, and that channel is your beautiful voice. Voice is very magical. If you use your voice well, you can create magic. So, as Mr. Bakshi was telling you about the paralinguistic features, that is something to do with your voice, your pitch, your volume, your where you will pause. All these are very important. So he was talking about voice. So voice is the channel. Now I'm going to highlight something, that is the 7 C's. I use the word letter C. 7 C's of English communication. Whenever you communicate in English, you have to remember these 7 C's, not only in English. If you communicate in other languages also, even in your native language, you got to remember the 7 C's of communication. The first C of communication is to be clear. whenever you are communicating, you must keep in mind that you are clear. The question is, are you communicating for yourself or you're communicating for the audience? Always keep the audience in mind. If I'm communicating for you, then I have to be clear. So please be clear. Okay. Don't muddle up your thoughts. Be specific. Know the purpose of your communication. Why are you communicating? That is very important. So you got to be very, very clear. The second thing is concise. Okay. Don't try to, kind of be too lengthy when you are communicating. Be concise. It's important to be concise because if you are too lengthy, too detailed, then your mind will not be able to process so much of information altogether. And very soon you'll get tired and you'll feel that the communication is not effective. So you have to be concise. Then the next thing is you have to be concrete. Okay, you have to be concrete. Don't give vague information. Don't be vague. Okay, be concrete, be specific. Don't be fuzzy, don't be vague. That is very, very important. You've got to be very, very concrete and specific when you are trying to, speak or when you're trying to communicate. Okay. The next thing is that correct accuracy or authenticity of what you are communicating is very important. You got to be very, very accurate and authentic. Don't give information which is not authentic. Okay, so if you do that, you will not be a good communicator. Then the next thing is that coherent. You must organize your thought process very logically, and there must be a flow of thought. Your thought process cannot be haphazard. Then people won't understand what you're talking about. So the flow of communication must be there. Your thought process must be very, very clear, and you have to organize your communication very, the process must be very, logical. So that is very important if you want to get across to the people you're communicating with. Right. Then the next thing is complete. Ensure that whatever you're communicating, you communicate completely, not half-done communication. Half-done communication will lead to a lot of misunderstandings and misinterpretation, which we want to avoid when we are communicating. We do not want people to misunderstand us. Even in the organization, if there is a lot of misunderstanding, it will create chaos. People will get confused. So we don't want any confusion. Okay. And the last but not the least, the last C is courteous. You got to be very courteous and polite when you're addressing people and when you're communicating. You have to have mutual respect. You have to also listen to others when you're communicating. Not only say what you want to say, but also there should be an interaction. So you got to be very polite, you got to be humble, you got to be courteous. Okay, so all these 7 C's in communication are very important, and you must remember this very clearly whenever you're making a communication with anybody. Okay. So now then another thing that I would like to highlight today in today's webinar is that there are some methods and strategies that you got to use if you want to be an effective communicator. The first method or strategy is believe yourself. There is nothing that is more important in believing yourself. If you believe you can speak, you can speak. If you believe you can't, you really can't. So it is important to believe yourself. As Mr. Bakshi was telling you, I was listening that he mentioned something about speaking to yourself. You might think some of you might say, what is ma'am saying? You know, it's crazy. How can I speak to myself? But yes, speaking to yourself is very important. Okay, maybe 5 to 10 minutes during the day, you stand in front of the mirror and do a short mirror talk. See yourself in the mirror. See how you're speaking. See your body language, because body language is 90, kind of 3%, and 7% is only words. We might be thinking, oh, words can do the magic, but no. In the process of communication, only words cannot do the magic. 70%, there is a study, is your body language. Okay, so it's very okay. And if you do this regularly, I'm sure you're going to be more confident in days to come. Okay, so you follow this tip that I am giving you today. Will also tell you that listen to people speaking in English. Okay, there are people around you who speak in English. Listen to them. Okay, and if you like someone's accent or the way of speaking, try to imitate them. Imitation is a very old practice of learning, so you can easily imitate people if you like their accent. But everyone has their own style of speaking. That really doesn't matter, but you have to listen to people speaking. Think of the time when you were a little baby. Okay, when you were a little baby, when you were born, you didn't know how to speak. Okay, so in your family, people continuously spoke to you. Okay, they talked to you, and you kept listening and listening and listening. So gradually you mastered that language. You started speaking. One day you tried to imitate the word which someone was speaking in your family, and like that you started speaking gradually. So the more you listen, the more you speak. Listening and speaking, my dear friends, are interconnected. So if you listen, you speak more. Okay, so please listen more. Okay, active listening is very important. And these days you have numerous audiobooks and many things, many tapes where you can easily listen, and make it a habit, make it a practice. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, then Mr. Bakshi was also mentioning about reading aloud. Yes, when I was abroad and I was, living on campus as a residential teacher, because I was a foreigner when I was in another country. So every morning, if I was taking or something, I would, in many universities and colleges abroad, there are lakes. Okay, I would see many students wake up early in the morning and go near the lake, and they were least bothered about who is hearing them, who is looking at them. They just stand by the lake or in the garden. There's the garden space also, and they just try to read aloud something. Okay, so reading aloud is very good. You can read a clip from a magazine, you can read an article, you can read a short story, you can read a poem, you can read anything, but you have to read aloud. Why you read aloud? I explained that because your ears will hear what you're reading, and your ears will get to this, will get used to that sound of English, and gradually will start speaking. It's all very, it's all very technical, right? It's all very technical. So I'm telling you this. Then the next thing is, the next strategy you could use is shadowing. You can try shadowing. What is shadowing? Shadowing is you see a movie or something, audio visual, and you listen to the sound and you keep repeating after that. We also have audio tapes. You keep listen, repeat. That is called shadowing. So that is like an echo or a shadow. Okay, that immediately whatever you're listening to, you are trying to speak out the thing. And believe me, we have done it that way. Today, if I can speak, I have used all these techniques myself. And so it's important for you also to use these techniques if you really want to, be an effective communicator. Then the next thing is practice regularly. As one of your professors said in the beginning, that you have to practice regularly. Calculate how many hours in a day you're speaking in your native language and how many minutes in a day you're speaking in English. You'll see you're neglecting English all the time, right? So you have to practice speaking in English every single day. And my dear participants, everything doesn't happen in the classroom. You must make it a habit. You must immerse yourself into English. Immersion means you must surround yourself with English. Okay? Think in English, speak in English. Think in English, speak in English. Do not use native language all the time and translate from native to English, English to native. That's not a good habit. Think in English and speak in English. That's a wonderful thing. It's a mantra to speaking and communicating well in English. Okay, so the immersion method is very good. Immerse yourself in English. Try to develop the love for English instead of running away from English. Right? Oh, English is a foreign language. It's so terrifying. I feel afraid. I feel shy. I feel nervous. I don't feel confident. There are many problems that students talk about. But what I want to tell you is that confidence is not inborn. Confidence has to be built. How will you build your confidence? By doing something that you don't do. Okay, so that is very important. Remember, if you're a good sportsman, the first day you learned that particular sport, you were not confident. But gradually, with repeated practice and doing it over and over again, you became, a champion at whatever sport you are, kind of playing. So that is the same thing applies for English, because English is your foreign language. It is my foreign language too. Okay, then the next thing is attend classes of English classes regularly. And if there is some experts who are teaching you English, try to join their classes instead of bunking those classes. Join various English activities. If you have English clubs, as I think Madam Pankaja was saying, that you do have some English and literature society, or, the Society for English Learning, you must join those clubs and activities. And you can use various techniques. You can use role play, you can use storytelling, you can use extempore, you can use debates, and various activities you can do. Learning English should be a fun. Learning English should not be something which is boring, which is only for classroom. No, it's not like that. It can exist everywhere, anywhere, anytime, right? So that's important. And talk to people who know English well, okay, and try to develop the love for English. Then, as you see, you also have, you can do picture interpretation. Suppose you have a picture, you can try and describe that picture. It's a very good way to learn English, and it's interesting too. Okay, and storytelling, of course, you have so much to say. Narration and storytelling, these are amazing techniques, and it can really help you towards learning English well. Okay, these are effective ways. So try to indulge in the ways that, it's like fun learning. Today we talk much about fun and useful learning. Okay, we don't talk only of, something that is classroom bound and, only in the four walls of the classroom. No. It is group work, it's teamwork, it's fun learning, it's activity based, and so on. And this is the way you can learn English very well. Then you have, in your phone, try to use English. You change the setting to English and be more acquainted with English when you're on your phone. Not always your native language. Okay, and of course you have to learn. You have to expand your vocabulary. Otherwise, how can you talk? So to expand your vocabulary, what do you have to do? learn at least 10 new words every day. Learn at least 10 new words every day. And when you're talking to your friends, there's no shyness when it comes to your peer group or your friends. You can use those words, and doesn't matter if you're wrong, because in the learning stage, everyone goes wrong. No one is perfect in the learning stage. I am now an expert or a master of English. So for me, it's different, So people don't expect me to go wrong, right? Even though to err is human, we can make a little error sometimes. But for you, you're in the learning stage. You have every right to go wrong. So don't feel afraid of your mistakes. Take it sportingly. Take it easy. Okay? So that's very important. And then, of course, you have to practice your pronunciation. And the more you listen to the tapes, the more you listen to, standard English accent, then, or you listen to native English speakers, then the more, you can listen to TED Talks and all these things. TED Talks are short, so it's not boring. It's not a long speech. Okay, so all these things, listen to English songs. It's very relaxing. Okay, watch more English movies. You do all this, and I'm sure these will help you, and they are really effective ways of learning English. Okay, and I can confidently say that if you use these techniques in learning English, and if you use these strategies, I'm sure you will do a wonderful job in learning how to communicate in English, and you will get rid of all your shyness, fear, hesitance, nervousness, or whatever is there. Okay, and try to create an English atmosphere. I always tell my students or anyone everywhere that nobody is going to create the English atmosphere. It is you who have to love English and create an English atmosphere. Then you can speak in English. I know we all are comfortable when it comes to our mother tongue. Many people tell me, I'm very good at expressing in my mother tongue. I really can't express well in English. But that's not the case. It's only a matter of practice. It's only a matter of going into the language. As I said, immersion, IMMERSION, immersion process. Everything doesn't happen in the classroom. So don't depend only on classroom learning, please. Try to make your environment, connected with English, and try to connect with English. That is very important. The moment you do that, I think things will get easier and things will get better. I think we're running short of time, so I'll have to end my discussion here. And I thank you so much, each and everyone, for participating in the webinar this evening. Though it's a Saturday evening, all of you have made great efforts and you've joined the webinar, and it's really marvelous and wonderful. And I wish you a very good evening and all the best. I will, okay, please don't leave. Mr. Bakshi is going to be there. He wants to have a word with you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you had a wonderful time listening to Amrita Madam. So the important thing is that whatever we tell you, but you have to do, right? So if I were, do I have the permission to use Hindi? Actually, I don't use my mother tongue. But this is something, I really want to, tell the participants that ultimately it is you who has to work hard. It is you who has to implement. It is you who will taste success. Okay? Sing a song in English. No, I can't sing a song. Everyone can sing a song. The problem is we don't have the intent. We don't have the wish to sing the song. We always want to listen. We always want to listen to others. We can clap when others are clapping. We can clap, but we don't want to perform by ourselves. That's a problem. That's a problem. I will take up the question because I will answer the questions from the chat. I think from the host, after 2 or 3 minutes, the host can read the questions and we both can answer the questions. But right now, I will take 2 to 3 minutes to tell you a very, very important information. Amrita ma'am, please come here. See, what has happened is you had heard from Pankaja madam that we were there almost 12.5 years. We worked in China. We developed skills for Chinese students in all levels. It could be the middle schools, the senior middle schools, the colleges, the institutes, the universities, the students from the police academy, the students from the traditional Chinese medicine, the students from the law university, etc., etc. Now, the thing is that we are Indians, right? So after all, we have the opportunity to return to India and do something from the youth of the country. So I left my home city, Calcutta. I went and got settled in Greater Noida. I joined a big university, Sharda University. We both founded the skills department, and then we worked briefly with Delhi Skills and Entrepreneurship University last year. But then we somehow found that we can't touch the whole mass of students, the whole youth of the country. We are trying our best. We have immense of energy. We have a lot of energy, and we really want to take this energy to the youth of the country. So we would like to mention here that this English is actually module in 6 kind of courses. The 6 kind of courses are like basic English communication course. This is for the people who have not tried to talk in English at all in his life. The second is basic English communication for advanced level. Advanced means people who are you listening? Could you hear me? Is my voice going?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. And the third will be the public speaking and presentation skills, where there will be opportunities for students who will go to the boardroom after they get the job, or they will have the opportunity to go to the podium and give a speech, but then people will normally push others. If your name is announced, then you will not like to stand up and go. You would like to push another person. Okay, you go, you go. So to get away from all this trouble, there is a course called public speaking and presentation skills. Now, for people who want to improve more on that, they have the advanced public speaking and presentation skills masterclass. There is a course on soft skills, because as Pankaj ma'am mentioned, that technical skills are certainly in the curricula, but then soft skills are the only thing that the employer or the interviewer is going to analyze, and on the basis of the soft skills, he or she is going to employ you or give you a job. So it's not only for getting a job, even with good relationship status with your friends, with your parents, with your, with your everybody, your family members. So soft skills is another one. That is the course number 5. And then the 6th course is on personality development. Now, all these courses will be provided online. These are all online because we both can't go to different places in India. So these are all online courses as per the suitability of the timings of the students in different parts of the country and other parts of the world. The prices are made keeping in view of the youth of the country and being the students. And I myself, as I told you, that I studied in the village. So I know that it's very, very important to keep the prices to a bare minimum. And it has been kept to that. Still, there will be students who are very poor, who may not be able to pay the tuition fees. We will also think about them. So this is something I wanted to tell you, that these courses are online, and these courses have different hours, like 15 hours, or say 20 hours. So you can take the advantage of learning from none other than Madam Barai, and you can improve on the skills. So far, this is for today. I would like to take the, question answer. If you can kindly, ask the questions. So thank you very much for listening. All you all had been extremely patient. So I would like to take the questions. You can all see the chat box. You can see the Google form I had shared. Yeah. Yes, Pankaj ma'am. Yeah, Pankaj.
You may write in the chat box or just raise your hand. You'll be unmuted from here and you can speak from there.
Because I can answer one question. Sir, could you please repeat the percentage of different aspects in speaking you told earlier? You can write it down. Total is 93%, which comes in non-verbal and vocal. And only 7% are the words. You know the words I'm speaking. It's only 7% because, and 93%. Now 93% is divided into two parts. One is 55, another is 38. 55 is non-verbal and 38 will be the vocal. Okay. So you can take it in an easygoing manner that 93% will be taking care of the body language and the voice, and only 7% will be the words. Questions, please. Only one question I found. Because I have already answered you.
7 C's.
Yeah, Amrita is going to take this question.
Okay, someone.
Vinipa, yeah.
You want to know the 7 C's of communication, right? So I'm going to say it once again. Please note. In the 7 C's of communication is number 1, you should be very clear. Number 2, concise. Okay. Number 3, concrete. Number 4,
Yes.
correct. Number 5, coherent. 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 Number 6, complete. And number 7, courteous. I hope it's clear, Vinima. Any more questions? Any more questions? If you have any questions about communication skill, English communication skill, you're free to ask. Is answering it, but I've taken over from him. What I want to say is that, because we think that in the rural area, there is more shyness and, lack of confidence because you've not been exposed to any kind of English environment. You're all the time speaking your native language and people around you also speak the native language. So you have not got that opportunity or chance to, kind of be surrounded by people who speak in English. So that could be a major drawback. So once you are in school or once you are in any kind of environment where English is being spoken, or I think, again, they can't hear.
I had already shared the link, the form on YouTube.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that whenever you get an opportunity to, speak in English or listen to English or kind of read English, write English, please take the opportunity immediately. Do not let it go out of hand, because every opportunity is precious, and I think it gives you a learning platform. So please take that opportunity. Besides that, and once you do that, gradually, it's not a miracle, gradually you will get rid of your shyness and you'll be more confident, because you will participate in various activities which are done in English, so that will be better for you.
Any more questions, please? Any more questions, please?
Any questions?
My dear participants on the Google Meet, could you hear Amrita ma'am? I just want a confirmation. Could you hear the answer? Role of grammar, Yogesh Ingle. Role of grammar, see, grammar is like mathematics. Grammar is like mathematics. Yogesh. So like in maths, we can only score marks when we are answering the question in the right way. 2 plus 2 is 4. It can't be 5. Option A, 5. Option B, 4. Option C, 1. Option D or option 4 is 7. So the right answer, even you will give the right answer, I will give the right answer. If we want to score 1 mark, is option number 2. That 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So grammar is the core mathematics of the language. In all our languages, grammar is there. Vyakaran. In Hindi, we say Vyakaran.
So for grammar, you have to know the rules of grammar and you have to practice, right? You get a number of worksheets and there are rules. There are some rules of grammar like there are for mathematics. And I think if you know the rules of grammar and you practice, your grammar will be strengthened. And please remember one thing, when you're speaking, you focus on fluency, not on grammar. When you're speaking, you please focus on fluency, okay, not on grammar. When you're speaking, focus on vocabulary and pronunciation, okay, not so much on grammar. I'm not saying that you will speak completely, kind of awkward. Okay, so what I was saying is that when you're speaking, focus more on fluency. Of course, you will have to concentrate on grammar more when it comes to writing. Okay, when you're writing something, then you have to be grammatically correct, right? There is no scope of making an error when it comes to writing. But when you're speaking, you may concentrate more on your fluency and pronunciation. Of course, you can't be, absolutely wrong grammatically, but you can manage somehow, even if your grammatical sense is not 100% correct.
In a nutshell, I can tell you that if you are very strong in grammar, it necessarily doesn't mean that you are very good in communication. Okay, so grammar is a different ball game, which is connected, as ma'am said, is connected with your writing skills. And in communication, where people are so much afraid to open mouth, to open their eyes and look into the eyes of the people and speak.
I think basic grammar is okay for communication, right? Like active voice, passive voice, past tense, present tense. So that is basic thing, which we learn in school also.
There are several, so we had all read grammar, right? Wren and Martin, and different states will have different boards with different books of grammar. I had read Wren and Martin in CBSE. It was a red color, very fat book. So like subject verb agreement, the 10 rules of subject verb agreement. So the student has to understand each and every rule and how to implement, how to apply. But then when he is supposed to speak on Independence Day or supposed to speak on any topic extempore, at that time, how I learn different types of English
accent.
I think, Aditi, you want to know about the accent, ACCENT. English accent. English accent, how can you learn? You can learn from the Google search. Like I always follow the American accent, so I try my best. Yeah, Wren and Martin is the book for grammar.
Very good, yes.
You are right. Yes, please. Any more questions, Pankajaji? Any other questions, please?
No, I want to say something about accent here. I think, standard accent is very important. That is to be native-like. Okay, when I'm speaking any language, I should try to be native-like. So when I'm speaking in English, I should try to speak more like a person whose mother tongue is English, rather than speak, with my local accent. So it's very important. I don't have to imitate any accent. I just have to speak standard English. And standard English means that I have to try to speak like a native speaker, and I can be native like. Maybe I that is not right. In every state there is a local accent, right? So that should not interfere. That is called mother tongue influence. It should not interfere with your English speaking.
Thank you, Yogesh, for your comment.
Yeah,
Pankajaji, over to you.
I'm greatly thankful to Mr. Samudra and Amrita Bagchi. Despite of so many hurdles from the technical side, yet you were able to communicate your views very clearly and very soft.
From this side. Yeah, from the audience, if anybody is interested to share their verbal feedback, please raise your hand from there. You will be unmuted from here.
Yes, ma'am, Nikita here.
Yeah, Nikita, yes. You can put on your camera.
Hello, Nikita, if you want. Hello. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Nikita, you
You
are.
are audible. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Honorable Dallas and respected lecturers. My name is Nikita Gavante, and I am a lecturer of English at Inaugural University. I'm glad to be part of this class. I appreciate and admire endeavor made by the English Department of National College to organize this webinar for the benefit of the students. We as teachers want our students to compete by learning this localized language, English. As we all know, learning this soft skill has become mandatory to excel professionally. Getting an opportunity to examine an international speaker like Dr. Hartman was a pleasure, and knowing simple techniques to learn English language will surely help our students in learning the language effectively. This is Dr. Bakshima elaborated the communication process. She gave us the 7 C's, some methods and strategies. Most prominently, she gave us mantra, that is, think in English, speak in English. She has asked us to believe in ourselves. Even Dr. Bakshi himself, he has given us some very simple methods, simple techniques, like from reading newspapers, make it as a friendly language. He advised the beginners as well to how to implement this language in their day-to-day language to improve the skill. He wants us to read loudly. He wants to use this as a gradual process and never be in a hurry. He has advised us to use this language as a network language and to build more neighborhoods. So this was the same vision board was really wonderful, and we enjoyed the part. I, on the bottom of my heart, kind of someone who had taught me or me when I was a student, and still she is my mentor and a friend, to give me a chance to share my feedback and giving me a chance to listen to such experts. I thank once again the whole organizing team and congratulations.
That was such a great to listen to you, and you being my student and now working as a professor in Amravati University just makes me proud to see you here. Thank you for joining and giving your active participation and very positive feedback. Thank you, Nikita. Any other participant who wants to share their feedback, please raise your hand. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. First of all, I'm Srinivas Raj Pandey. I'm student of Nasamaliya, So, mostly short I'm very thankful to our college for arrangement of this webinar and also thankful to our speakers for the excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sibran, for taking the initiative to share your feedback. It's really valuable for us. Any other participant who would like to share the feedback? Please come forward. Yeah, you're audible. Your name, please.
First of all, I'm a congratulate on the team, English department and organizer. Different related techniques among English and communication skills. So actually, I was also part of this college in social science. The candidates are close to my heart. And writing, I'm a lecturer in English and the movement of English writing. So I have eager to listen. Actually, I have students and their communication skills. And what I was surprised that the students always feel that English is very difficult language. But I'm eager to listen today. And one thing of Bhakti is me that how it when it has yeah. The same way, he doesn't know the alphabet or other thing, he doesn't know the grammar, but still he can speak into his mother tongue. The same way we can learn. And this Commerce and Science College, and especially to English department, that is Mr. Raghunathan ma'am and Pankaj ma'am, both have my good side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manisha, for your valuable feedback. It really means a lot for us. If anyone really wish to share the feedback, please come forward and do this. Yeah, your name, please.
Hello.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Hi.
You can go ahead.
Ahead. Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to speak. First of all, kudos to the organizers of organizers who organized this event on how to speak in English for the speaking country on which you can learn English. And I'm very grateful to the organizers committee, especially from the Nagpur Founders, Madhur Chitratar ma'am, and Narsima College as well. I'm from Nagpur, and I'm definitely want to know the basic and the fundamental things on how we can learn English in a very simple and very easy manner. And I really appreciate some of the practice and with the man for giving the valuable time to this webinar. And I hope this webinar has been fruitful not only for me but also for the entire people who have seen this webinar and attended this webinar. And thank you very much for organizing such event. And I'm very much hopeful that in the future as well, this National College will also organize such events. I'm very grateful and thank you very much and all the members to the team of National College. Thank you very much, sir, and now once again.
Wow, wonderfully expressed, Mr. Yogesh. Your words are really valuable. I hope the couple, Mr. and Mrs. Bagchi, are quite pleased with the feedback which has come from the audience.
Feedback actually energizes the present and the future endeavor for the students of our country. Then we feel also confident that we are in the right path of the work that we trying our best to help the youth of the country to uplift the skills of their English and other skills
and
which
their
are soft skills and
development of
their
personality
development of
gradually.
personality
But
gradually.
surely,
But
that's
surely,
very important
that's
for
very
us
important
to
for
listen
us
to the
to
feedback.
listen to the
It's very,
feedback.
very
It's
important.
very, very important.
Thank you so much for the feedback. And as I said, feedback is a very important part of the communication process. No communication process is complete without a feedback. And feedback is really important for, you know, us because it is through feedback that we learn how effective the webinar had been. And it's wonderful. And thank you so much once again for giving Mr. Bakshi and me the opportunity to conduct this webinar this evening. And it has been a wonderful effort by the hosts to conduct this webinar. And I wish everybody all the best in their English learning endeavor.
Most certainly, special thanks will go to Pankaj ma'am for organizing this webinar, and
And
more and more thanks to
more and
the
more thanks to
managing
the
committee of the
managing
Narsumma
committee of the
Trust,
Nursing Trust,
and most
and
certainly
most
not to forget
certainly not to
the
forget
participation of
the
the wonderful
participation of the wonderful
patient
patient
participants from all around
participants
the
from all around
country and the world.
the country and the world.
Thank you for your
Thank you
time.
for your time.
Wish you a
Wish
wonderful
you a wonderful
good evening.
good evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you, the wonderful couple, for being with
for
us
being
and spending
with
such a
us and
wonderful
spending
time.
such a wonderful
I
time.
request
I
Dr.
request
Madhu
Dr.
Chikalkar
Madhu
Madam, one of the
Chitratar
faculty
Madam, one of the
members of
faculty
English
members of
department,
English
to
department,
please give her.
to please give her vote of thanks.
Grace of, with the grace of Srimati Narasimha. with the grace of Srimati Rasoma Mata and respected dignitaries here, as well as our honorable principal sir, as well as HOD, Dr. Pankaj ma'am. I'm here to express my total thanks for this uh, international webinar. Now as you all know, that English is very much important for every aspects in the life. That is, so I hope that this webinar is very much helpful for all of us, for all the participants, and it has been a successful endeavor from our college. I think it will be helpful in your future also. And I am my sincere. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Mr. Shrikantji Paidar for inaugurating the webinar and sharing his valuable words with us. Thank you so much, sir. He has advised to evaluate the fear from the mind of the participants and try to practice it daily, as well as my sincere gratitude to Dr. Rajeshji Chandan Bhatt, sir, for his cooperation in organizing various literary programs. His cooperation is very much precious for us every time he is with us in every activity. He has also explained the importance of communication in our life. Now, my deepest gratitude. I am very much thankful to our honorable speaker, Mr. Somudra Bagchi, for discussing on major issues and solutions in English. Thank you very much, sir. My deepest gratitude to another esteemed speaker, Mrs. Amrita Bagchi, for providing valuable guidance to our participants for the improvement of English language. The both couple are have been explained here the very much realities and as well as the solutions related to the issues in the English language. They have very well explained each causes as well as the flow in the communications and they have explained how the language should be polite and how we will work upon the language. And he also advises, they both also advises that make believe ourselves in our speaking English as so that we can evacuate the shyness in our mind. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to offer my valuable regard to Dr. Mahendra Singh Pawar, sir, for creating the very excellent brochure of this international webinar. I am also thankful to the Shantanu Kundale and Rakshit Kanbal for handling technical side and taking efforts in making this webinar successful, as well as Dr. Sandhya Bhagat ma'am, Dr. Ratnavati sir, they also helped a lot for the in case of technical support to us. Thank you so much, sir. Now, not less, I am very much thankful to all the participants and the audience for involving in this one-day webinar. Thank you so much, all of you. You are, and as well as those who have made feedback here, over here, I am also thankful to them also. And in our English department, our HOD, Dr. Pankaj ma'am, Dr. Nakul Gamre sir, they both have taken a lot of effort for making this webinar successful. So I am very much thankful to them also. Thank you so much. Otherwise, if ma'am has not taken the initiative, we will not be able to take this forward. Thank you. Over. Thank you for contributing.
मोबाईल नेटवर्क चालू आहे लॅपटॉप चालू आहे मॅम
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, Dr. Chikarkar, madam, for your valuable vote of thanks. But me being the host and the coordinator for this one-day international webinar, I would rightly extend my deepest gratitude first to my principal, who has been a great support, then a member from our management, Honorable Karikar sir, all the dear participants, because without you, this webinar wouldn't have been this colorful. I'm thankful to Mr. Somudro and Ms. Amrita Bagchi for their presence. And the deepest gratitude to all my technical team. I would begin with Dr. Sandhya Bhagat Madam, because from day one she is with me, and my two pillars, Rakshit and Shantanu, and Dr. Pawar sir, and Dr. Ratna Pathi sir, and all the entire team for making this webinar. To end point, I would just like to say that very soon we are going to share a feedback form, and after that, after the verification, you will receive your e-certificate. I hope the equal cooperation even in the future, and with the kind permission of the principal, we are ending this webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
झालं ना, उठू शकतो. बंद केलं मी.